is Jordan Peterson? The intellectual lightning rod. Jordan Peterson rose from a quiet Canadian psychology professor to a global phenomenon. Admired by some, criticized by others, but impossible to ignore. This video explores his journey from academia to worldwide influence, uncovering the ideas that sparked intense cultural debate. Jordan Peterson isn't just a clinical psychologist. He's a best-selling author, a viral speaker, and a polarizing figure in modern discourse. This video dives into the roots of his philosophy, the rise of his fame, and why his words continue to challenge and inspire millions. From classrooms to crowded auditoriums, his message of responsibility, order, and meaning struck a nerve across generations. To some, he's a voice of reason in chaotic times. To others, a controversial critic of progressivism. But who is Jordan Peterson, really? Today, we dive deep into the mind of Jordan Peterson, his ideas, his impact, and the intellectual storm he helped ignite.
You don't want to just win, you want to get better while you play, right? So you want to find a partner who's as good as you, or maybe even slightly better. And then that puts you on the edge, right? Edge of what? Edge of the development of your perceptions, your attention, and your action.
Welcome to Who Media, the channel where curiosity leads the way. From famous celebs and cartoon icons to legends and hidden names, we uncover the stories behind the people you know and the ones you don't. Jordan Burnt Peterson was born on June 12, 1962, in Alberta, Canada. Raised in the small town of Fairview, his early life was filled with prairie sensibility, cold winters, working-class values, and a deep-seated belief in personal responsibility. His father was a teacher, and his mother a librarian, both professions that encouraged reading and critical thinking. Is it any wonder he became a book-loving intellect who obsesses over words and meaning? Peterson pursued a degree in political science before switching to psychology, where he found his true calling. He earned his PhD from McGill University and spent several years at Harvard University as an assistant professor before returning to Canada to teach at the University of Toronto. At this point, he was a relatively unknown figure, respected in his field but operating well outside the public spotlight. So what happened? What made a tenured professor go viral? The tipping point came in 2016 when Peterson publicly opposed Canada's Bill C-16, which proposed adding gender identity and gender expression to the list of prohibited grounds for discrimination. Peterson argued that the bill would compel speech by mandating the use of preferred gender pronouns, which he saw as an infringement on free expression. The reaction was immediate and intense. Critics called him transphobic, while supporters praised him for standing up to what they perceived as authoritarian political correctness. But here's a question. Was this truly about pronouns, or was it the beginning of a much larger war over speech, identity, and culture? Suddenly, Peterson was everywhere, on news shows, podcasts, panels, and YouTube compilations. His lectures, once given to sleepy psychology students, became global sensations. In these videos, he didn't just talk about clinical psychology or personality theory. He discussed myth, religion, meaning, suffering, and responsibility. He quoted Carl Jung, the Bible, Solzhenitsyn, and Dostoevsky with equal weight. Why do his lectures resonate so deeply? Could it be that in a chaotic world, people are desperately seeking someone who speaks with clarity, depth, and conviction? In 2018, he published 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos, a self-help book that sold millions of copies and was translated into dozens of languages. The book offered practical advice. Stand up straight with your shoulders back, clean your room, tell the truth, but was also loaded with philosophical and psychological exploration. It challenged readers to take responsibility, seek meaning rather than happiness, and confront suffering with courage. Why did such seemingly simple advice hit like a thunderbolt for so many young men and some women around the world? One possible answer lies in timing. Peterson's rise came during a period of immense cultural upheaval. Conversations around identity, race, gender, politics, and privilege were dominating public discourse. At the same time, many people, especially young men, felt left behind or confused by the changing moral landscape. Peterson offered a narrative that was both ancient and empowering. Life is suffering, but you can face it. You may not be able to fix the world, but you can fix your room. Is that not a powerful idea in an era where people feel helpless in the face of massive global challenges? But his message wasn't without controversy. While some saw him as a beacon of wisdom, others saw him as a gateway to the alt-right. He consistently rejected those associations, stating that he opposed authoritarianism on both the far left and far right. Still, his critics accuse him of giving cover to regressive ideas under the guise of intellectual debate. Is it possible to be misinterpreted at such a scale when you're constantly in the public eye? Or is ambiguity part of his appeal? Health struggles temporarily pulled him from the spotlight. After a series of medical complications related to anxiety medications, Peterson spent time recovering in multiple countries, including Russia and Serbia. During his absence, both admiration and criticism intensified. When he returned to public life in 2021 with a follow-up book, Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, the world had changed, but Peterson's core message remained: take responsibility, seek truth, and aim at the highest possible good. His new wave of interviews, now softer and more introspective, showed a man who had been through hell, physically and emotionally. Would that ordeal make him more relatable or more controversial? He wept on podcasts, questioned the fragility of life, and shared his regrets and fears. Some found his vulnerability deeply human. Others called it performative. But who gets to decide where the line is between honesty and theatrics? Peterson's influence has also reached religious, political, and philosophical arenas. Though not a traditional believer, he often speaks of God and the Bible with reverence, treating religious texts as archetypal maps for meaning. His biblical lecture series became wildly popular, with people from all faiths, and none, tuning in to hear a psychologist dissect Genesis or Exodus. What other modern figure has managed to turn ancient scripture into trending YouTube content? As of now, Jordan Peterson continues to lecture, write, and appear in interviews across the globe. He joined the conservative Daily Wire Plus platform for exclusive content, signaling a stronger alignment with certain ideological camps. Yet he insists he is not a political actor, but a thinker. Still, with nearly every word dissected, analyzed, or memed, is it possible for someone to remain purely intellectual in a world that demands everyone pick a side? Peterson has been both praised and condemned by public intellectuals, activists, politicians, and media outlets. His followers view him as a truth-seeking mentor in a world full of noise. His detractors see him as a dangerous voice cloaked in academic language. He speaks to the parts of the human soul that long for order, responsibility, and meaning, but also sometimes alienates those who see his style as rigid or moralistic. Which of those is more important? Intention or impact? Whether you see him as a sage or a provocateur, a psychologist or a preacher, Jordan Peterson is undeniably one of the most influential public intellectuals of our time. His journey from Canadian professor to global cultural force reveals not just who he is, but what our world is hungry for: depth in a shallow media landscape, structure in an age of chaos, and someone who's willing to stare into the abyss and say, stand up straight. So here's the final question. In a world that constantly shifts beneath our feet, is Jordan Peterson offering a compass or just a very compelling mirror?
Is there something small that you can do on a daily basis that would incrementally improve you, that would lead to an expanding transformation of your productive ability and your ability to function in the world across time?
Thanks for watching Who Media. We hope you had fun learning something new today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a story. Want to see more cool videos? Head over to our channel and start exploring.